In today's chapter 1, we're going to be talking about monitoring and teaching for understanding. The objectives in chapter 1 are to recognize characteristics of students with learning disabilities and influence their learning, to recognize their behavior disorders and how to characterize and influence learning on those problem behaviors, to identify the multiple ways in which individuals with learning disabilities are identified, and to be able to contribute to an individualized education program on a target student with disabilities. Summarize the critical components related to effectively teaching students with learning and behavior problems. So diving right into students with learning and behavior problems, it can come in various different forms: poor academic performance, attention problems, hyperactivity, aggressive behavior, withdrawn behavior, and bizarre behavior. Factors in determining the severity of a learning or behavior problem. The persistence of the problem, so how often the problem occurs. The severity of the problem, is their learning and behavior problem mild, moderate, or severe? Speed of progress. The critical question is the student responding appropriately? Motivation. Parental response, how do family members feel about the child's progress? Other teachers' response, how did the student do in their classrooms and perform? Relationship with the teacher. What type of relationship does the student have with the teacher? Instructional modifications, what attempts were made to modify the student's academic and behavior problems? Is the student responsive to the attempts of intervention? Adequate instruction, does the student have adequate exposure to the material and enough time to learn? Behavior, age discrepancy, does the student display behavior deviant to his or her age? What is not age appropriate? And other factors, does the student's background, experiences, culture, and language match those of the teachers and other students in the classroom? Defining features of special education. Individually planned, specialized, intensive, goal-directed, employ research, and guided by student performance. These are the 6 different defining features of special education. To individually plan is to provide instruction material and a setting of instruction. Specialized is instruction and adaptations included related services and assistive technology that are not often a part of the general education curriculum. Intensive is precise, targeted instruction. Goal-directed is instruction focuses on individual goals and objectives necessary for the student's success. Employ research-based methods. So we want to extract from successful research and apply that into our own curriculum and to help students succeed. Guided by student performance means student response to instruction is continually assessed for use in evaluating the effectiveness of instruction and adjusting instruction when necessary. Learning and educational environments for students with learning behavior problems. So most students with learning behavior problems are educated in the general education program. For example, 87% of students with speech and language problems spend more than 80% of their time in general education classrooms. These percentages are considerably lower for students with behavior problems and significantly lower for students with learning disabilities and behavior problems. According to the U.S. Department of Education National Center for Education Statistics, 45% of students with emotional disturbance and 68% students with learning disabilities. Students with disabilities receive services through special education, which is also reauthorized as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which is also known as IDEA.